Hello and welcome to the Truth About Horse Health webinar. We're going to have a conversation today about the truths about horse health and maybe bust some myths while we're doing this, just because I like to do that. I am Dr. Janet Rourke. I'm a veterinarian in Central Texas, and I own Hill Country Mobile Veterinary Service here, proud owner of that. And I've been practicing here in Central Texas since 2009 with my own practice. And then I am the essential oil vet as well. Kind of became the essential oil vet in 2014. And for the past 10 years have really followed that particular passion. In the world of horses, essential oils are incredible. Being that they're herbivores and large animals, they really respond well to the use of essential oils. We're not going to be focusing too much on essential oils today, but I know a lot of you are very interested in that, and I'll give you some tips about that along the way. But the goal for today is to really get you a foundation of what is true about horse health, because you might be believing things that you think are correct that are not actually the truth. And so you're in the right place today if you want to learn more about keeping your horse happy, sound, and healthy for as long as possible. Maybe you want to spend a little bit of money on some vet visits, because those can get pricey real fast. But also, you want to know when you need to call your vet out or go to them for sure. You're in the right place if you want to avoid making mistakes by knowing how to keep your horse living their best life throughout their life. And maybe you're not sure about all the information out there. There's a ton of conflicting information, especially in the horse world. It's really kind of hard to know who to trust. Maybe you want to be a responsible pet owner or a horse owner, and that's why you're here. You just want to get as much information as possible, and you love to learn and are open to hearing some options on how to do better without having to read thousands of books, magazines, or blog posts in doing the right thing for your horse. This is a photo of Mac and I. Mac is one of my horses, and this is just a quote I really love. The essential joy of being with horses is that it brings us in contact with the rare elements of grace, beauty, spirit, and freedom. And Sharon Ross Lemon said that. And I just love that. I think it's so true. Just a little bit about me and my equestrian journey. This is Mac. He is an off-the-track thoroughbred. I've owned him since 2020. Right, I got him in January of 2020 before COVID happened. And so that our journey has taken some twists and turns, as it does with horses sometimes, right? And he is my heart horse. And if you've ever had a heart horse, you know what I'm talking about. So this is him. We did a little equitation class here. This is this really pretty photo. And we do a little bit of eventing and show jumping primarily here locally in Texas, although I have been to the World Equestrian Center in Florida, which is incredible, and hope to do a little bit more traveling with him in the future, maybe even go to Kentucky at some point. He is an off-the-track thoroughbred. He raced till he was almost 8 years old, so he was quite fast. He won a lot of money here locally in Texas and Louisiana on local tracks here, and retired in his 8-year-old year. And my trainer got him and actually took him to did the RRP with him, which is a Retired Racehorse Project, if you've never heard of that, and did eventing and I think hunters with him, and did pretty well, like in the top 30 for both of those. She took 2 horses that year and actually won the show jumping with her other horse, which is one of my barnmate friends, horse Maple. But shortly thereafter, she did that in 2019, September 2019, and I got him shortly after there. He's just got the best work ethic, a lot of try. He's very, very smooth and very, very safe, and I just feel like I can do anything on him. He did have a keratoma surgery, foot surgery, so he was out for about 6 months to a year while his hoof regrew. Once that was taken out, that was a little over a year ago since that's happened. And so we're just kind of getting back into it this year and having fun. This is Red. Red is he's a registered solid paint horse. So he is a APHA, 16 and a half hands, a pretty big guy, super gentle, super sweet. He's 7 years old now. And I actually got him as a horse for my husband. Enjoy riding him. He's again super, super safe. He is like a true husband horse. He's just so sweet in your pocket, very gentle. You don't even have to know how to ride, and he'll just take care of you and be a good boy. And really just is happy and loves just taking around the littles and doing his job. He is used in the program here at my trainer does IEA, which is the middle school and high school equestrian team, and also IHSA, which is the Scholastic Horse Show Association for Texas State, so college kids, where they draw a horse's name and they get on it and ride it around. And Red is a superstar in that particular scenario. So he gets ridden by a lot of different people, and I can try to make it louder. You can also turn up your phone. My speakers are in, so hopefully, can you guys hear me okay? And that sort of thing. So he's a good boy. He's my paint horse. And then this is my baby horse, JJ. This is him in his hunter breeding classes over the last couple of years. He's a Dutch warm blood, KWPN, registered here and bred in Texas. Did super, super well in his hunter breeding classes, champion every single time. And so about a month and a half ago, we went to our first show together, and it was a work in progress for sure, but he has a lot of scope. I'm hoping he'll be my hunter at some point down the road. He's 4 right now. He'll turn 5 on June 6th. So he's still very much a baby, especially in the warm blood world. He's still got some growing to do, and he's just a wonderful little horse, very, very sweet. And those are my 3 guys. And just so you guys know, kind of where I came from. So here's our agenda today. We're going to talk to you guys. I'm going to give you guys the truth about horse health. And yes, we are going to cover a little bit about essential oils, but mostly horse health. That's what we're going to focus on, which means all aspects of horse health. And I'm going to give you, for each truth, I'm going to give you something that you can implement easily and right away. So I don't want you to leave here thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't learn anything. There's nothing I can do. I have to take this big long course, da 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 da. That's not the point. The point is for you to be able to learn a few simple things tonight and be able to implement them easily and right away tomorrow even, or even tonight. But if you do want to learn more, we're going to have some next steps available for you to do that as well. So the truth about horses, truth number 1 is nutrition is the foundation of health. So we have some pillars of health, nutrition being one of them. And I would like to say that I probably like the myth associated with this particular truth is that horses should be stalled. Okay, I probably just offended half of you, and probably half of you are going to drop off now. Horses actually don't really do super great stalled all the time. But colic, ulcers, not having any gut sounds, diarrhea, impactions, oh my gosh, the list goes on and on. Horses cannot vomit. And so how do we prevent the colic from happening, the ulcers from happening? The answer is nutrition. So horses in nature are designed to be grazing slowly throughout the day, 85% of the time, walking and grazing. Horses that are stalled actually only spend about 30% of their time eating hay and 3% of their time scarfing down large grain meals, and the rest of the time not walking, not grazing. Okay, so very different than horses in nature. Large, infrequent meals and limited grazing contribute to stress and may lead to things like ulcers, colic, or even worse. And I see it every day. Did you know that sudden changes in hay, even a new cut from the same exact field, the same guy you buy hay from, can increase colic risk by up to 10% each time? So whenever you have a change in hay, you get a new cut, you get a new batch, that's when it's time to be super vigilant with watching your horses and seeing what they're doing, maybe listening to gut sounds and that sort of thing. So okay, Dr. Rourke, maybe being stalled isn't the greatest thing in the world, but also like that's what we have to live with. So what can we implement? So what to implement here? Do your research. Ingredients matter. Focus on forage, giving free choice grass hay. Maybe doing a slow feeder so your horses aren't just eating 30% of the day, but they're eating more frequently throughout the day. Evaluate your horse's own energy needs. Feed smaller, more frequent grain meals as opposed to one or two large ones. Feed smaller, more frequent grain meals rather than one or two large ones. This is extremely important because horses' stomachs are actually not that big compared to their size. Add in salt or electrolytes. There's a lot of great ones on the market. Balance the omega-3s and omega-6s in their diet. Flaxseed is excellent for horses. Give supplements, probiotics, prebiotics, probiotic, postbiotics. Those are incredible. SmartPak has a great one, Smart Digest Ultra that I really like. The Smart GI is a really good one that they have as well. You can use, if you have questions about supplements, go to SmartPak's website. They have something called a supplement wizard. You can actually type in all your horses' individual information, get an individualized supplement pack for each one of your horses. Maybe you have a hard keeper and an easy keeper and an older horse. So, their needs, their nutritional needs are different. You can't just feed them the same thing. They are different and should be fed differently. Platinum Performance also has a supplement support as well. Also an excellent quality supplement support. There's other great supplement brands out there. Those are probably the top two that I recommend. And just a note here, essential oils are actually not vitamins or minerals, but they can greatly help with digestion and nutrition and assimilating the nutrients so they can actually digest it and utilize it. Things like Digestin internally, peppermint, cardamom, all these are extremely good for digestive support. This is just like a chart that I got from, I don't remember, I think it was AAEP. Just a day in the life. Horses evolved to lead consistent, healthy lives with relatively minimal exertion. However, modern horses don't live that way, which can cause big problems. So just a good little diagram of a horse in nature, 85% slowly walking and grazing, 10% of their life sleeping, and 5% maybe being active, running, playing, or running from predators. Horses in work are kind of modern day horses. 40% of their day standing in the stall, 30% eating hay in their stall, 10% sleeping, 10% turnout, 5% training, 3% wolfing down those big grain meals, and maybe 2% standing on a trailer or even longer if they travel a lot for horse shows and things like that. So truth number 2, horses are actually born to move. This goes very much hand in hand with truth number 1, and that is that horses in nature spend 85% of their day walking and grazing and about 5% running, moving from predators. And horses in training, 50 to 80% of their day is just standing in their stall, or if they are turned out, they're at a big round bale standing there all day, just eating hay or standing there or laying down. Movement impacts performance. It impacts mental health. It prevents boredom. It improves physical health as well as wellness, as well as behavior. It impacts hoof health, circulation, lymphatic flow, and joints. These guys actually do well. Motion is lotion for joints. So walking movement is extremely good for arthritic hocks, arthritis in knees and fetlocks and things like that. So what do you implement if, horses are born to move? How do we implement this? Get your horses to move. It's really that simple. Ride, lunge, graze, hand walk. Hand walking is so wonderful for horses. Turn out in a covered arena if you have one in bad weather. Trail ride at a walk every single day. Get them out of their stall. Ideally, turnout is amazing, but keep in mind that just standing at a hay bale and not moving is the exact same as standing in a stall and not moving. Okay. So getting them out of their turnout daily to change things up is extremely beneficial as well. Now, horses in turnout, they'll walk to their water trough, they'll walk back, they still get a lot more movement than horses in their stall, but it's not necessarily that much different, especially in a lot of our modern turnout situations if you don't have the space or the capacity to have large pastures or things like that. So groundwork is extremely helpful, just in hand work on the ground, getting, you don't have to have any tack on them necessarily, but just getting them to be respectful of people, comfortable around people, knowing where their feet are. Your veterinarian and your farrier will thank you so much by spending a few extra minutes every day working on your horse's ground manners. And it just makes the world of difference in their mental health, because the reason why they're being naughty is because they don't know to be good. They don't know what good is in our mind. And so working with them on groundwork, clicker training, all these sorts of things are extremely beneficial. The TRT method is a pretty great one if you guys have seen it around on social media and things like that. They do a lot. It's a lot of groundwork stuff, teaching the horse where their feet are so that they can be respectful of the people while being safe for themselves and the people around them. Truth number 3, horses are social herd animals. Herd animals need friends. They crave being around other horses. Being with other horses helps them gain important social skills, letting a horse be a horse, right? If you don't have any other horses around, you can always get a stall goat or a donkey. Friend time actually decreases stress significantly and increases movement for that animal. Remember, truth number 2 that we just covered is movement. Horses that do not have friends may be on constant alert, just kind of like always being vigilant due to their protective nature of herd living, which is how horses are designed. So they might just be vigilant all the time. So where we start seeing problems like narcolepsy, horses not laying down because they don't feel safe and they're not getting their REM sleep, that sort of thing. So rest is very, very important. It's crucial. And horses are social herd animals. And if they don't have a herd, it can be detrimental, especially to their mental health. I work with a lot of off-the-track thoroughbreds, and off-the-track thoroughbreds are often stalled due to the nature of, being at the track and racing and being in training and things like that. A lot of times they do turn them out as foals altogether. But when you take a horse off the track, especially if he's been in competition a lot of people will give them a letdown period where they just get to be a horse in a herd with other horses and learn how to be social and maybe gain a little bit of weight and kind of come down from like the high track life. So that's something that's very common, and I don't know that we do that enough with our other horses. Track people, people who work with a lot of thoroughbreds know this already, but it is something that is just something that we should factor in. The fact that horses are social animals, they're herd animals, they do really, really well in small groups. So how do we implement this? Might not be possible to turn out with another horse. But what you can do is schedule regular friend time for your horse. Maybe you can turn them out together, supervise, maybe in an indoor arena, hand grazing together with your best friend at the barn is extremely good social time for you, as well as social time for your horses as well. Truth number 4 is that you don't need to actually use toxic chemicals in the barn or on your horse. Okay, I'm gonna let that one sink in. So that's true. You do not have to use toxic chemicals in the barn or on your horse. And these things are everywhere. And we are so bad as horse people for doing this. Everything we put on our horse's skin can absorb into their systems and cause problems long term. Laundry detergent. What are you washing your blankets in? What are you washing your saddle pads in? Are you using fabric softener? Fabric softener is very, very bad for horse's skin. God forbid you use dryer sheets. If you do nothing else today but remove dryer sheets from your life, just throw them away. Don't try to save them. Just throw them away. Use wool dryer balls instead. It's so much better. Then I will feel like I've accomplished something in my life. So laundry detergent, softeners, dryer sheets, barn cleaning supplies. Oh my gosh, especially during COVID, people were using so much bleach, so much bleach. Bleach is very irritating to horse skin, especially sensitive skin horses like Arabians and thoroughbreds. What are you using to clean your buckets with or your troughs? A lot of people use bleach because they want to kill the algae. Your horses are drinking that, okay? So make sure you rinse thoroughly or use a little bit more natural of a cleaner. Brush cleaning with detergents. What are you cleaning your brushes with? How are you sanitizing those? What fly sprays are you using? What fly control are you using? Most fly sprays are pesticides. They kill things, and it's just getting absorbed into your horse's skin. What kind of shampoo are you using? What kind of conditioner? What kind of ointment or liniment are you using? Okay. If you use furosemide, just throw it in the trash right now. It really isn't doing any good. No vet recommends this unless you're using it to sweat your horse's legs. It doesn't actually work as like an antimicrobial or antibiotic ointment. What are you using to keep your pastures clean? Roundup is actually linked to lymphoma in people, in horses, in dogs, in a lot of animals. Pesticides, weed killers, synthetic fertilizers, these are known carcinogens and can lead to cancer in your horses. So how do we fix this? What do we implement? Use white vinegar to kill weeds. You can use a little bit of white vinegar, a little bit of dish soap, and spray the weeds down with it. It's super natural. It's totally healthy for your horses. Everything's going to be fine. Buy chemical-free organic fertilizers if you want to fertilize. Make your own compost. It makes a really great fertilizer. Use chemical-free cleaners like the On Guard Cleaner Concentrate or the Abode line of products or in and around your barn or for your water troughs, even in the bathrooms in your barns. Avoid anything with artificial fragrance like those dryer sheets, shampoo, conditioner, or coat enhancers. Most of them, if it doesn't smell natural, it probably isn't. I know some of them smell really good. Same thing with your laundry detergent. Use an enzyme-based laundry detergent instead of one that is full of chemicals, especially if you're in the United States. There are over 4,000 substances banned in Europe that are allowed in the United States. And a lot of them are in things like laundry detergent. Use your essential oils instead. Essential oils make great cleaning products, smell amazing, and are very, very natural. And your horses can actually do really well with those. Okay, truth number 5, horses are accident magnets. Okay, I wish this wasn't true. I really do. But they do keep veterinarians in business. So maybe I don't know. Fencing is the number 1, number 2, and number 3 thing that can cause injury to a horse. Fencing, fencing, fencing. And I think the fourth one is like things around the barn and then things in the trailer. Trust your instincts. If you feel something isn't right, then it probably isn't. You know your horse the best, and horses are pretty much designed to keep veterinarians in business. I had a horse named Jinx. It was one of my own personal horses, and my stalls, this is when we lived in Michigan. So they were on our property. My stalls were immaculate. They basically were padded stalls. They weren't padded, but they might as well have been with how safe they were. He ripped his eyelid almost completely off. I go out there one morning. I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to cancel all my appointments because we got an emergency here. We gotta sew this up. And we sewed it back up and he was fine. I still to this day have no idea what he caught his eyelid on, because there was literally nothing. There was no blood anywhere. It was crazy. They were just accident magnets sometimes. And some horses are worse than others, of course. So if you are one of those people that has an accident prone horse, let me know in the chat. So what do we implement if our horses are just accident prone or are accident magnets? What do we do? The main thing is vigilance, being vigilant about what's going on, especially with fencing. Number 1, number 2, number 3 things that horses get hurt on. Walk the fence line regularly. This is great for your health as well and riding fitness. Check for trash, hay strings, poisonous plants, fence conditions, footing in the pasture or pen. Check your horse's stall for nails or sharp objects or broken areas or anything he can catch a fly mask on or a blanket on. Lock up everything at night, including your feed doors. Take off their halters if they're out in the pasture or in a stall. Install security equipment. Lots of great, super cheap video cameras available now. Keep turnout groups consistent. Whenever you change up herd dynamics in a turnout group, you normally have 3 horses, now you have 4, or you take one out because they went to training somewhere and you added a new one in. It's like starting over from scratch, and they have to reset their herd dynamics. So keep your turnout groups consistent, very important. Feed separately. Resource guarding can cause accidents. That's resource guarding for hay, water, grain, anything. People, attention, treats. So resource guarding, that's when horses will start fighting with each other and can actually hurt themselves. So feed separately if you can. Properly fitting bell boots and blankets. So anything that is on the horses, making sure that it's properly fitting. And then know your horse's vitals, their temperature, heart rate, and respiratory rate. Know what normal is for each of your horses. Take those daily so that when you will know before that horse starts showing symptoms if something is up, if something's wrong. If you're like, well, my horse's rate is usually 44 and today it's 64. Why is it so high? Was he just running around? Ask those questions. Or is he starting to not feel so great? Is he starting to colic? My horse's temperature is normally 99.9, but today it's 101.3. That's still technically in the normal range, but, was he just running around? Is it super hot today? Do we need to cool him off? Or are we starting to get a little infection? So those can be little things that can alert you to something is going on. I need to contact my vet, or I need to do something until I could decide, I know for sure that something's going wrong, because something might not be going wrong. They might just have been running around like a crazy horse. And that's why his temperature is up. Or maybe you forgot to take your temperature before you rode and you took it after you rode. It's going to go up if that happens. Okay. But get to know what your horse's normals are. This is very, very important. All right. Truth number 6, horses are very prone to stress. I know some horses are not very good at showing this. Some can be very, very stoic and not show you that they're stressed, but they are. Think about it. Everything is a predator. They even let predators, aka humans, ride them on their back where they can't see. This is literally where giant cats would jump on them and kill a horse in the wild, right? They jump on their back. So the fact that they let us ride them is just completely insane and just a true testament to how amazing they are. Everything causes stress for horses. Horses absorb our stress. It's part of the reason they're so healing in nature. Unfortunately, stress in our horses leads to things like behavioral problems, digestive problems, unexplained weight loss, autoimmune diseases, metabolic disease, things like tying up. And why is this? Stress compromises the immune system, and a compromised immune system leads to infection, disease, and ultimately death. So what can we implement to help decrease the amount of stress in our horse's life? This is where providing mental stimulation can be very helpful. You can do toys in the pasture, things like that. Regular turnout, extremely important. If you are stressed out, do things to manage your stress. And part of that is, of course, taking care of our horses and riding and things like that. So stay calm. You can use your oils to help yourself stay calm. Regular massage, extremely good for horses. Stick to your routine. And of course, training and desensitization. I have a lot of people that are like, my horse is stressed and they have such anxiety and I just don't know why. They're completely feral horses. They're like untrained. I'm like, they're stressed because they don't understand. And once they start to understand things, their stress level goes down. They're like, okay, everything's going to be okay. Because when they're in stress mode, they're in fight or flight, and everything is going to attack them, and they have to protect themselves, right? That's all they know. We have some extremely good essential oils to help with this particular problem. Balance is my favorite. Serenity, Balance and Serenity I use on almost every horse in every single case. Copaiba, which is basically like CBD, works on those same cell receptors. Peace Adaptive, which is extremely good for situational stress, panic type situations, or horse show anxiety, that sort of thing. Lavender, Roman chamomile, and bonus, you can use all of these on yourself and your horses. Truth number 7, no one knows your horse better than you do. Your grooms at your barn might know a few things. Your barn managers certainly get to see your horse every single day. They're amazing resources. They're often at the barn more than you are, especially if you're bored and work. Um, but they are amazing resources. However, they are not you. Your veterinarians, they are great for things like giving vaccines, doing your floats or dental equilibration, doing fecal exams, prescribing medications like nonsteroidals or antibiotics or steroids, doing surgeries, emergencies, laceration repairs, checking titers if you to see if you even need vaccines, running diagnostics, blood work, exams, neuro exams, lameness exams, x-rays, those sorts of things. Again, amazing resource, but they can only cover so much in one vet visit every 6 to 12 months. Or if you have one of those accident prone horses, maybe every other month. They still are very focused on that one little thing while they're there. Your trainers, again, an incredible resource. I love our trainers, but you need to do your part too. Your friends can be super helpful, especially if they're like-minded, but sometimes they're a little enabling and they might not have the education needed. Largely their advice is anecdotal. They're like, hey, try this. It worked for me. I see some of you in the chat are doing that already. So what do we implement here? Do your part. You are the best and only advocate for your horse. You know your horse the best. And you can learn how to do a lot of things yourself, like the nutrition side of things, grooming, groundwork, lunging, riding, bathing, trailering, learning about titers, removing toxic things from your care arsenal, and so much more. Knowledge really is power. Just another little quote from Winston Churchill: no hour of life is wasted that is spent in the saddle. True, true, true. So here's your next steps. So all those things you can implement today, you can implement tomorrow, you can slowly start to implement some of the other things that are a little bit more complicated, like more turnout and things like that after you talk to your trainer. But there are some things you can do today, and hopefully you can take those away and we're taking notes and things like that. But step one is to start implementing what we talked about today. Sounds simple, right? Use the tips that we provided in this webinar. They absolutely will help. But you can't teach everything at once, and sometimes that's easier said than done. Step number 2, be proactive and continue to learn positive things to implement for your horse with a little bit of help. This is where I come in. So you guys may or may not know, the 7-day Happy Healthy Horse Challenge is coming up in just a couple of weeks on May 26th. Starting on Sunday this year, Sunday to Saturday. So it's 7 days. I have been completely obsessed with my horse's health since I was 10 years old. So a little bit more about me. I worked for vets all through high school. When I turned 16, I started volunteering at the local vet, and all through high school, then they ultimately hired me because I wouldn't go away. Worked through vets all through college and high school. I went to the University of Findlay in Ohio for pre-veterinary medicine and equestrian studies. So my backup, if I didn't get into vet school, was to do equestrian studies, actually teach people how to ride and work for a big trainer out east. So I have an equestrian studies major, also majored in biology, so triple major, and minored in chemistry. Then I went to vet school, 4 years of vet school, started my own practice out of vet school, eventually learned some natural practices, like acupuncture, like Chinese herbal medicine, like essential oils, things like that. So I actually have over 35 years of only wanting the best for horse health. I know, shocking. I do not even look like I'm 35 years old, and yet here we are. The truth is that one trip to the vet or having your vet come out is easily $200 to $400, and that's if they don't even do anything. The goal is to minimize these and empower you through education, and also know what is the difference is between something that's routine versus something that's an emergency, because that'll factor in as well. Imagine the peace of mind that you'll have knowing that you are taking the very best care of your horse, not to mention the cost savings. So here are your options. You can do it yourself. You can spend 35 years of learning, just like I did, read all the books, blogs, magazines, go to vet school if you want. Or you can join me for just 1 week and get the most important things that you need to know in less than an hour a day and implement that day, just like we talked about today. We did just barely even skimming the surface today, but imagine what I can do with an hour a day with you. This knowledge could be worth thousands over the lifetime of your beloved horses, even in years to come. Something that you learned today, you can use throughout the course of your lifetime, right? It's extremely affordable for everyone. It's only $95 for 1 week with me during the 7-day Happy Healthy Horse Challenge. And here's what we're going to cover. So day 1, we're going to cover nutrition. We're going to really dig into it, talk about supplements, talk about a healthy digestive tract. This is a foundation of health. Day 2, we're going to cover movement, exercise. Movement is critical and horses are born to move. We talked about that today. Day 3, rest and relaxation. This is where we start to cover that like stress reduction kind of conversation. We continue that on day 4, managing stress, reining in that fight or flight situation that horses are just naturally born with. Day 5, we're going to cover skin and coat health, getting them super shiny and happy and healthy from the inside out. Day 6, we're going to cover immune system health, keeping your horse's defenses high, especially if they travel a lot and are under a lot of stress. Day 7, we're going to cover joint, ligament, tendon, and muscle health. These are critical structures for long-term wellness and soundness. Not only that, but I've got some bonuses for you. We're going to cover pest control and give you access to the parasites webinar. Bonus number 2, we're heading into spring and summer for a lot of you, and healthy hydration is super, super important. I'm going to give you guys a DIY electrolyte recipe, a replay of some of the amazing presentations that have been put out there. Bonus number 4 is the top 10 essential oils for horses webinar for those of you that are really into the essential oil side of things. Bonus 5, we're going to spend a whole lot of time talking about hoof health, recipes, and strategies for healthy hooves. I mentioned Mac had a keratoma in his foot that had to be removed. His whole hoof had to grow out completely before I could start riding him again. You better believe I was focused on those hooves and that hoof growth. Bonus number 6, exclusive Aroma Touch for Horses training video. And bonus number 7, we are going to do daily giveaways for those of you that attend the live sessions and actually participate in the challenge. I'm also going to give away at least 1 rose essential oil. That is over $300 worth of oil right there that I will be giving away as well. Also, it gets better. We do have an early bird discount of 25% off. So normally this is $95. Some of you actually already purchased it, and more power to you. But from here on out, here until Thursday, actually, we are going to give you guys a 25% discount. So the 25% discount is automatically applied at checkout. You don't have to type in a coupon or anything like that, but only if you register by midnight on Thursday. There's already over 50 people registered, and it's going to be an amazing community of people just like you that love their horses and want the best for them. If you want to join this and get that 25% discount, be sure to head over to essentialoilvet.com/horse challenge. I'm going to type it in the chat here. And grab that today. Go ahead and screen save that if you want to. We'll also send it an email in the morning with the link in there directly, if that's easier for you. And that is all I have for you today. I hope this was super helpful for you. I hope you got to learn a little bit, maybe think outside the box a little bit about what is best for your horses, things that you're doing really right. And you're like, yes, I'm doing it right. I knew it. And some things that maybe you want to tweak a little bit. Again, if you just do one little thing today, like removing something toxic from your horse's arsenal, you are going to really improve your horse's life long term. And I hope to see you in the Happy Healthy Horse Challenge in 2 weeks.